Okay, welcome back to, I think this is episode 2 of the Straight from the Floor podcast. I got to turn my heater off. I feel like it's probably making too much noise. So trying a new thing here, playing with some fancy softwares. I don't know how this is going to work out, but we're going to give it a shot. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the program changes and the differences between the programs that we run here at the gym. We're getting ready to change our schedule up just a little bit. We've got several class offerings here at the gym. We've got our CrossFit group class, which is kind of our bread and butter. We've got our adult strength training program, which is really the one that I want to talk about today. We've got our sports strength and conditioning class, which is geared toward middle school, like 7th, 8th graders and high school athletes. And we've got our Legends program that runs here. So for our older adults to be able to participate in some kind of strength, conditioning, fitness type stuff. So with all of those options, I really kind of wanted to hone in on the differences between our CrossFit class and our new, well, I guess it's not new. We've been running it for a little over a year now, adult strength training program. So the thing is that different people have different needs, and one program doesn't just fit anyone. So a lot of gyms like mine, like a CrossFit gym, we'll try to get everyone working on kind of the same model. And we know that that's not the right answer. And we have people that are walking in the door who have never done any kind of strength training. They've never done any kind of sport, or maybe their doctor is telling them, hey, if you don't go and do something right now, then bad things are in your future. Maybe they've got a lot of weight to lose, or they need nutritional guidance, or they need to get some blood work done. We got a lot of different people coming into the gym. So we want to make sure that we've got the right option for the right person. We know that some people strive in like a high intensity, or they thrive, in like a high intensity, varied workout. And other people need more structure. They need more strength training. They need some lower impact training. And these adults that are coming into the gym aren't all in the same phase of life. So that makes a big difference too. So we want to make sure that we've got the good answer for them when they walk in the door. But this doesn't mean that we're trying to do everything under the sun when it comes to fitness and strength and conditioning and help. We've really got 2 paths that we take people through when they're coming in the door. We've got our adult strength training option. That's really for those who want or need to get stronger. Okay. And then we've got our CrossFit classes, and those are for people who want to build like a general and inclusive fitness. So adult strength training is geared towards strength. CrossFit is geared toward fitness. So let's talk about CrossFit for a minute. So from a technical standpoint, CrossFit is constantly varied functional movement executed at a relatively high intensity. So what does that mean to us? So constantly varied just means that the workouts and the movements are going to change every day. We're going to squat. We're going to pick things up from the floor. We're going to press things over our head. We're going to run, jump, twist, turn, and do all the things that God designed us to be able to do. But maybe we're going to change up the way that we deliver that from one day to the next. Maybe one day we're going to squat with the barbell on our back. Maybe another day we're going to do air squats, or we're going to hold a kettlebell in our front rack and do goblet squats, or some different variation of that movement, but we're still squatting. And it's not just the movements that vary. I got to turn my notifications off here. It's not just the movements that vary. It is the way that the workout is delivered every day also. So some days are going to be long workouts. So 20 to 30 minutes plus of just straight up conditioning type stuff. Some days are going to be a lot shorter. So, some days might be, we're just going to work on our back squat. That doesn't happen too often now in our CrossFit class. There's almost always a strength plus conditioning piece, but it's that conditioning piece that really varies the most for us. So sometimes we'll go short, sometimes we'll go long, sometimes we'll go heavy, sometimes we'll go light, sometimes it'll be body weight, sometimes we'll be loaded. It just really changes every day as you work through it. So that's the constantly varied part. The functional movement part is, and I kind of already talked about this a little bit, but it's these movement patterns that we see out in the world. So when I sat down in this chair, that was a squat. So we're learning how to squat inside of the gym. When I put a box up on a shelf, that's a press, and maybe even a clean and a press. So we're taking these movement patterns that we see in our day-to-day lives out in the world, and we're training them under the watchful eye of a coach. It is the intensity piece, I think, that most people get all wound up about CrossFit. And CrossFit is an intense workout, but intensity is relative to the person. So my mom could potentially come in and do the same workout that I'm doing at a modified level and get the same intensity that I get out of this workout. So, when we're coaching a class in our CrossFit classes, we've got people that are old, young, that need to lose weight, that need to gain weight, like moms and dads, and just like all these different walks of life in this incredibly wide age range. They're all taking class together, and the workout gets modified so that they can get high intensity at their skill level. CrossFit is really designed to develop strength conditioning with a higher emphasis on skill development. And we're going to see that through like gymnastics and Olympic lifting. So like we're going to do some kipping drills. We're going to learn the hollow and arch positions that you see these gymnasts doing. We're going to get into inversion or some variation of an inversion where we're doing a handstand push-up or a modified variation of a handstand push-up. So that's what I think about when we're doing gymnastics. We're going to play on the gymnastics rings, on the pull-up bars, that kind of stuff. And then Olympic lifting, we're learning those really powerful and speedy lifts, the snatch, where we're taking a barbell from the floor to up and overhead in one movement, or the clean, where we're taking the barbell from the floor to what we call our front rack to our shoulder in one movement. And then maybe from there, we'll take it up and overhead. And there's footwork and there's patience and timing and position that are all involved with that. And it just takes a long time to learn and develop the skill in those movements. So yeah, there's a big, strong focus on the community part in CrossFit. There's a strong focus on group energy. And that's kind of the same thing in the strength training class. But really our CrossFit classes are, when it boils down to it, are going to be for people who enjoy intensity, like high intensity in their workouts, people who want like a general and well-rounded fitness, or people who get bored doing the same kind of stuff all the time, like doing the same lifts all the time. So our adult strength training class. So this class, I guess I need to back up just a little bit. So as I'm getting older, I am seeing more and more the need for strength in my own life. It's really important to me to continue to build muscle and maintain muscle mass, because muscle is the organ of longevity. More and more and more from the science side, we're seeing that, hey, muscle mass equals long and healthy life. So that's what I want. I want to put muscle mass on. I want to be big and strong. I want to be capable in my life all the time. I don't ever want my strength to be an issue. I don't ever want to fall down on the floor and not be able to get myself back up. Or if my wife needs the pickle jar open, I want to be her Hercules. I want to be that guy for her. I always want to be really, really strong. And when I first got into CrossFit, I had stumbled upon this coach. His name is Zach Evanesh. And if you don't know who Zach is, you should go look him up. Underground Strength Gym over in Manasquan, New Jersey. I think he's in Manasquan, somewhere in New Jersey, some little beach town in New Jersey. But Zach has a little bit of a different training philosophy, and the dude's been in the game for a million years. He's built out his own certifications, and I've been through all of them. He has traveled the world as a speaker in the strength coaching world. And really, when I'm looking at how I want to model what I'm doing inside of the gym, I look at Zach and what he's doing inside of his gym from that strength and conditioning or strength training aspect. So Zach is a dude that I followed when I first started CrossFit. And I just really fell in love with his attitude and his approach to strength training. And I don't want you to think that like I'm trying to dog on CrossFit here, because that is definitely not what I'm doing. You know, if you cut me open, I'm going to bleed CrossFit. It's still a part of me. It's a huge part of the gym. It's not going anywhere for us. We really, really believe in CrossFit and the methodology when it comes to building fitness. Now, our strength training class is not designed to build fitness. And as a coach, I think it's really important to keep looking outside of your little bubble and pull from as many reputable sources as you can. So when I'm learning Olympic weightlifting, I'm not just looking at how CrossFit teaches us to do that thing. I'm going out into the world and looking at the experts and the high level coaches and trying to take some of what they're doing to pull it back into what we're doing in the gym. When we're talking about the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift, those power lifts, I'm going out into the world and I'm looking at dudes like Eddie Cohen and Zach Evanesh and Mark Smelly Bell and some of these guys that have been in the game for a long time, that have done this at a really high level. And I'm learning from those guys to pull that back in to our strength training. And on that note, I would just say that any coach who tells you that their way is the only way. So if you walk into a CrossFit gym and the owner, the coach there tells you that CrossFit is the only way for you to get strong, fit, and healthy, you should turn away and walk out of that gym immediately. That person does not know what they're talking about. And the reason why is because everyone's goals they're just different, right? Like not every program is built for every person. And that's because everyone has different goals. So if you want to be a really good runner, then you should run a lot. If you want to be a world-class power lifter, then CrossFit is not the thing that you should do. You should power lift all the time. If you want to be really, really fit, then CrossFit is the thing that you should be doing. If you want giant muscles and to be just as big as you possibly can, then bodybuilding is the way that you should go. So I just think that it's important that when you walk into a gym, the coach that you're talking to is talking with you and identifying the goal that you have and the thing that you're trying to achieve, and then making sure that you are getting into the right program and getting the right coaching to build toward that goal. So our strength training program really, and I'm kind of clicking through my notes here. So our strength training program is built around strength first. There's a big focus in that program on protecting our joints, and building some work capacity through strength training, and kind of strength for your everyday life. And the things that you're going to do in there are very similar to some of the things that we're going to do in CrossFit. They're just delivered a little bit differently. So we're going to squat, we're going to hinge, meaning we're going to pick things up from the floor. We're going to push. So we're going to push horizontally. We're going to push vertically. We're going to pull horizontally. We're going to pull vertically. We're going to use things. We're working those primal movement patterns. Again, the kind of movement patterns that you're seeing out in the world. But we're just not putting the conditioning emphasis on those things. We're working on building strength through those movement patterns. And you're going to see us using things like barbells and dumbbells and kettlebells and sandbags. And we're going to implement a lot of sled work into that class. And we're going to do some body weight stuff so that we can train some durability. We're going to do lots of loaded carries and pushes and drags. You're going to see some strength-based circuits with some basic movements and like really short conditioning pieces with like purposeful effort, but maybe not against the clock like we would do in CrossFit, to build strength that's useful under fatigue. So the structure of our strength training class is less skill-based, and it's a lot more, I blink with one eye. That's weird. It's like a squirrel when I'm looking at myself here. The structure is a lot more simple. And you're going to see more repetition through the core lifts. And we're not trying to develop those really high level gymnastics or those really high level barbell lifts. You're going to see a lot less high impact conditioning. The outcome that we're looking for in this program is really just building a more capable human, someone that's got higher energy and better resilience to stress. We're trying to reduce some injury risk, help you build some better posture and movement. We're going to help you increase your confidence, your mental toughness, and really build that long-term independence, which, that's one of those sticky points for CrossFit and for our strength training class. We're looking long-term, and we want you to be strong, fit, capable, and healthy for the rest of your life here. And this class, this adult strength training class, is going to be really good for adults who are in their 30s and 40s and 50s, people that have joint issues, people that are intimidated by CrossFit or the fast pace of a CrossFit class, or anyone who just wants to get stronger. That's what the class is all about: strength training to get stronger. So you just some benefits here that I wanted to make note of. You're going to become harder to break. Okay, that's really, really important, both physically and mentally. That is, I think, one of the more important things. And that's the thing that we see that starts to transcend itself outside of the gym walls, is when we can come in here to the gym and we can do these hard things, that starts to bleed over into our life outside of the gym. Moving on here. I think that that's pretty clear about the differences between the two programs. And again, CrossFit is higher skill, intended to help you build a broad and inclusive fitness, meaning that you have high work capacity. You can go long, you can go short, kind of the jack of all trades and the master of none kind of a person. And our adult strength training class is there to build durability and capacity and strength as the base. And to kind of push into that a little bit, our high school sports strength training class is going to be kind of similar to our adult strength training class. You're just going to see some more like plyometric stuff, a lot more running, jumping, bounding type stuff inside of the sports strength training class. You're going to see a lot more agility work in that sprinting, jumping, bounding kind of stuff. And really the big reason that I want to stick with the strength base with the kids and the high school kids is that they need strength. They need coordination, and they need to learn some body control. They don't need a bunch of random workouts or varied workouts. They need small changes over time and lots of time under tension and consistency with these lifts so that we can build those kids up to be good and strong. It's that strength base that we're after before anything else. And I get into it with some coaches sometimes, with some sport coaches. My job is not necessarily to, like, especially during the season, to build their fitness or their conditioning or anything sport specific. So I want to train strong movement patterns so that these movements and strength that we're building in these positions applies to their sport, but it can apply to any sport. So really the conditioning piece of this, like if you want if you want sport specific conditioning, then you need to go and play your sport. You need to spend more time playing that sport. That is the thing that gets you conditioned for the sport that you're playing, is going and playing the sport more. Again, my job in the sport strength program is to help teach better movement, to build that strength base over that. That is the priority over everything. I want to help reduce some risk of injury, because stronger joints means less chance of injury. More muscle means less chance of injury. Those are the kind of things that we're trying to do. So I guess to sum this whole thing up, I'm approaching the 20-minute mark, and I don't want to go too long here. And I don't even know if this is going to work, because I'm using a new podcast platform and I don't even know how to do it. So I'm winging it right now. So I guess at the end of the day, you can think of CrossFit a little bit more like PE for adults. It's that variety. It's, if you love conditioning, CrossFit's going to be the place for you. If you like fast-paced workouts and you want like an all-around fitness, our CrossFit classes are the place that you need to go. And again, there's no age limit on our CrossFit class. You know, CrossFit is for anyone, but not everybody will do CrossFit because it's hard. Our adult strength training class is for you if your goal is to get stronger. If you prefer a little bit more structure, a little bit lower impact training there, and if you just want to feel more durable and capable, then that adult strength training class is the one that's for you. Again, adult strength training can be for anyone, but it won't be for everyone because it's hard. And that, I guess, both of them are hard, and that's kind of the message here. So just to kind of bring it back home here, both programs are going to build strong people, just in different ways. So your goal is really important to the direction that we take and which program that you go in. The gym is kind of expanding a little bit. So we're opening up more adult strength training classes. So kind of the schedule is we're going to have 3 workouts per week for our adult strength training class. We're going to have a Monday 6 p.m. and a Tuesday 6 a.m. Those 2 workouts will be the same. We're going to have a Wednesday 6 p.m. and a Thursday 6 a.m. Those 2 workouts will be the same. And then we'll have a Friday 4:45 and then a Saturday 8 a.m. class for the adult strength training. And those 2 workouts will be the same. So 3 workouts a week is really kind of the sweet spot that I've found over time, works the best for people. And then having that flexibility to come AM or PM, and then just hitting those 3 workouts throughout the week gives you a lot more flexibility in the time that you're attending classes. Now, from a CrossFit standpoint, we run a lot more CrossFit classes, but we are modifying our schedule a little bit. So all of this starts at the beginning of March with this class schedule change, the addition of the adult strength training program in the mornings. But for our CrossFit classes, we're going to run a 5 a.m. and an 8:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. Right now, as of the time of this podcast, we are going to have a Monday and Wednesday 3:30 CrossFit class, and then we'll have a 5 p.m. CrossFit class Monday through Thursday. So still, you've got that AM, PM time that you can kind of bounce back and forth between. Now, I want to talk about the 3:30. Oh, sorry. We have a 9 a.m. CrossFit class on Saturdays also. So lots of opportunity to be able to come in and jump into those CrossFit classes. From a sports strength training program standpoint, right now, we're looking at Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 3:15. So those kids can come straight from the middle school or from the high school over to the gym. We were doing 4:45s with the wrestling team, but I don't want to give the kids the opportunity to go home, get comfortable on the couch, and then not come back to the gym. So we're going to move that class up so that they can just come straight over once school is over. Now, our attendance in our 3:30 class has been pretty low for the last couple of months. So we're looking at, and we aren't doing anything. I am looking at taking that 3:30 class for CrossFit all week long and just dedicating that to our sports strength training program. So then we would just have AM and PM CrossFit classes, 5 a.m., 8:30, and then 5 p.m. CrossFit classes. And then that 3:15 Monday through Friday would be for our sports strength training program. And if I do that, I'll structure it kind of the same way as our adult strength training program, where we're going to have 3 workouts per week for our sport or for our kids. We're going to have a Monday, Tuesday would be workout number 1. A Wednesday, Thursday would be workout number 2. And then Friday would be workout number 3. That way they can get those 3 days a week in. And I know that kids' schedules are crazy and it doesn't always work out. So hopefully that can give parents a little bit of flexibility in making sure that their kids are able to get in to that program. And again, our sports strength training program is really geared towards 7th, 8th graders, and then freshmen through seniors in high school. The reason that I don't want to bring the 6th graders in yet, particularly the incoming 6th graders, is because they're just not quite emotionally ready to come in and work hard. Now, I'm not saying that they're not ready to do some kind of training. Stuff for those kids, 6th grade and below, body weight type stuff, man, it's really good. They need to be learning how to do squats and push-ups and pull-ups, and they need to be out running and jumping and playing and doing all that kind of stuff. But just because of the structure of the class and the way that we're going to run that thing, really, I think incoming 7th grader is kind of our cutoff there. Just from a maturity standpoint. And honestly, I don't think the 7th and 8th graders are all that mature, but they do tend to listen a little bit better when it comes to the coaching stuff. So that's where we're at from a CrossFit Final Call standpoint. I hope that I've given you a better idea of the difference between our adult strength training program and our CrossFit programming, and why we're bringing this sports strength training in and how we're doing all of that stuff. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please send me a message. You can email me, matt@finalcallrobinson.com. You can send me a message on any of the socials. I'm always available to help out. With all of that said, have an awesome day, and I'll catch y'all next week.